far beneath the shimmering sun-dappled waves. In a world where light filtered down like threads of pure silver, lived a young mermaid named Lyria. Her long turquoise hair floated around her as gracefully as seaweed silk, and her eyes held a sparkle brighter than any pearl hidden deep within ancient coral caves. Lyria was a princess of the Grand Sea Kingdom, a magnificent realm ruled by her kind and gentle father, the Sea King. Watching over them all was her wise grandmother, a keeper of every story the ocean had ever whispered through the ages. The sea was a kaleidoscope of wonders. Glowing fish swam in dazzling schools, playful dolphins danced in the currents, and vast forests of kelp pulsed with a soft, ethereal light. It was a paradise. Yet, for all its beauty, Lyria's heart was drawn to the world above. She would often find a warm, smooth rock near the surface, a place where she could sit for hours, watching the graceful dance of seagulls in the sky and listening to the distant, happy hum of human laughter that drifted on the breeze. One quiet evening, as the last rays of sun painted the water's surface in hues of orange and pink, her grandmother joined her. They sat together beside a garden of glowing seashells, their soft light illuminating Lyria's thoughtful face. "Why do you look up so often, little one?" her grandmother asked, her voice as gentle as the lapping waves. Lyria touched her fins, a shy gesture, "because it feels like something is calling me, something beautiful. Something new." Her grandmother's eyes crinkled with a knowing smile. "The world above holds its own kind of magic, Lyria, but it also holds danger. Be patient. When the time is right, your heart will be your guide." And so Lyria waited. Then, one calm night, the moon hung like a perfect silver coin in the dark velvet sky, casting a brilliant path across the ocean. Drawn by its beauty, Lyria swam higher than she ever had before. The air on her face felt cool and fresh, a stark contrast to the dense water below. The waves around her sparkled like a field of scattered diamonds. It was in that perfect stillness that she heard Ita's soft, beautiful singing carried on the wind. It came from a human ship, its decks aglow with the warm light of lanterns, drifting gently on the calm sea. Curiosity pulled her closer, and she swam silently toward the vessel, her head just above the surface. There, on the deck, stood a young prince. He had dark, windswept hair and warm, kind eyes that were fixed on the moon as he sang. His voice was gentle, yet full of a quiet hope that resonated deep within her. "He looks so kind," Lyria whispered to herself, completely enchanted by the way he smiled at the stars, as if sharing a secret with them. But the peaceful moment was shattered in an instant. A low growl of thunder rumbled in the distance, and the sky began to boil with dark, angry clouds. A fierce storm rolled in with shocking speed, its winds whipping the calm sea into a furious rage. Colossal waves, like liquid mountains, slammed against the wooden ship. Lightning tore across the sky, carving jagged, brilliant lines in the darkness. With a horrifying crack of splintering wood, the ship broke apart, tossing the prince into the churning, violent sea. Without a single moment of hesitation, Lyria dove. She surged through the stormy water, her powerful tail propelling her against the current. She found the prince sinking deeper and deeper, his eyes closed, his strength gone. Wrapping her arms securely around him, she swam upward with every ounce of her might, fighting the storm's fury until she finally dragged him onto the shore of a quiet, sandy beach. He lay there, motionless. "Please wake up," she murmured, her voice trembling as she gently brushed the wet hair from his face. The prince stirred, a faint groan escaping his lips, but he didn't open his eyes. Fearing he was fading, Lyria did the only other thing she could think of. She began to sing. It was a soft, ancient melody, a lullaby of the ocean, full of warmth and healing power. As her song filled the air, she heard footsteps approaching from the nearby village. Panicked, not wanting to be seen, she slipped back into the waves, her heart pounding. She watched from the safety of the water as others found him, but her mind was filled with one image, his peaceful face as he lay on the sand. The days that followed were a blur of restless thoughts. Lyria couldn't get the prince out of her mind. She longed to see him again, to know he was truly safe. She began visiting the surface every day, watching from a distance as he walked along the beach, his eyes scanning the horizon, searching for the mysterious girl with the beautiful voice who had saved his life. Her constant daydreaming didn't go unnoticed. Her father, the Sea King, saw the distant look in her eyes. One day, he placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Your heart is strong, Lyria," he said, his voice full of fatherly concern. "But remember that love is not only found in reaching for another world, it is also found in cherishing who you are and the world you belong to." Lyria nodded, understanding his words. But her heart still felt heavy with an unfamiliar ache. She didn't want to leave her family or her beautiful ocean home, but she couldn't forget the prince's smile or the feel of his hand in hers. One bright morning, as she swam near the surface, she heard the familiar sound of a boat slicing through the calm water. It was the prince. He was alone, leaning over the side, listening intently, as if trying to catch an echo of her song on the breeze. "Whoever you are," he whispered into the wind, his voice full of longing, "thank you. I hope one day I can meet the voice that saved me." Hearing his heartfelt words, Lyria's own heart glowed with warmth. She decided to take a chance. She rose slightly from the water, allowing the morning sun to catch in her turquoise hair, making it shimmer like tiny captured stars. The prince gasped softly, his eyes widening in awe. "You?" he said, his voice barely a whisper. Lyria offered a small, gentle smile, staying just far enough away to keep her secret safe. "You are safe now," she said, her voice as soft and soothing as a warm tide. The prince bowed his head, his eyes filled with overwhelming gratitude. "I will never forget you," he promised. From that day forward, a beautiful and unique friendship began to blossom. The prince would sail to the shore often, and Lyria would rise from the ocean to meet him. They shared stories, weaving their two worlds together with words. He told her of forests filled with singing birds, of bustling markets overflowing with laughter and life. In return, she described magnificent coral cities that touched the seabed and glowing tides that lit up the darkest nights. Their worlds were impossibly different, yet their friendship was gentle, honest, and true. The Sea King watched them from afar, his usually stern face softened with affection. "She has found her happiness," he whispered to Lyria's grandmother, who stood beside him, nodding with a knowing, peaceful smile. And so the years passed in harmony. Lyria remained a princess of the sea, her heart full and her spirit free. The prince remained a ruler on land, his kingdom thriving under his kind leadership. But whenever the sun dipped low, painting the sky in farewell colors, they would meet at the shore, finding immeasurable joy in the simple, precious moments they shared. Because of them, the ocean and the kingdom above became friends. The shores were never lonely again. At the end of each sunset meeting, the prince would always say, "The ocean sings sweeter since I met you," and Lyria would always reply, "And the sun shines brighter since I met you." Their story became a legend, a timeless tale told in both the world above and the world below. It was a story of kindness, of courage, and of the powerful magic that grows when you follow your heart, not by changing who you are, but by cherishing the beautiful differences in each other's worlds. Thanks for watching our story today. If you enjoyed it, please give us a like and subscribe for more magical tales. We'll see you next time.